Hello? Hello. Are you live? Yes, you're live.
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
It's coming through? Okay. All right, that's all we need.
2 years before his untimely death, Alan Coren set off with his friend Christopher Matthew looking for adventure on local bus routes. This episode finds them south of the Thames, trying to find the house where Christopher was born.
I had this idea, I've had it for years, that there are certain people one knows where they were born. I mean, we're always hearing about Churchill being born in Blenheim Palace. We're always hearing about the Queen Mother being born in Glamis. And I would like to see where I was born. You never know. In time to come, when they want to do the documentary on my life, it might come in useful. I've even brought this, just in case.
What is it? It isn't your birth certificate.
It is.
That is amazing. Your father's a company director. When did you last come to look at your birthplace?
What, Woolstone Road? I've never been there. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it
people
means.
went around saying, I remember the house where I was born. You have absolutely no
Yes,
idea.
they never do, of course, do they? Churchill did, because you can't forget Blenheim Palace. If you were born there, of course you remember it. I have no idea. Maybe, I mean, it could be a fish and chip shop now, for all I know. I imagine it was a nursing home of some sort. Put this picture of her, not so that I can say, do you recognise this woman? It's a picture of my...
I've never seen a picture of her.
Oh, she's very pretty.
Oh, gosh, that is so of her time. It's
Yeah.
a fox tippet, isn't it?
Yes,
I mean, they're fox
yes.
ties.
And this cloche hat.
Cloche hat. That's
Short
wonderful.
and one of those narrow skirts.
And that's only the dog. The dog is clearly, it's absolutely, to give a picture for listeners, that dog is pure HMV.
Oh, yes.
It really is
It's got black patch over one eye.
amazing.
I don't know which nipper that was, but they only ever called their dogs by one name. It's a clever idea, wasn't it?
Did your parents talk to you much about growing up? I mean, mine didn't. My mother was born in St John Street in Clerkenwell, and my father was born about sort of a mile away. But they never really talked about any of the things that you and I talked about. The idea of doing a self-revelatory programme like this, totally anathema them. But it wasn't made a
But
secret.
it's difficult to get the commissions in those days.
Well, it was a crystal set. Funny how people crouch over a cigar box with a crystal and a wire out the window saying, I think I can hear Sam Coren in the distance.
Imagine trying to record the programme.
Being followed by a horse and cart with an enormous gramophone on the back.
And nipper
Yes.
the dog.
Edison saying, turn left here. Yes. Can you speak up a bit?
This is the one we want. This is the only way we can do this.
Buses to... Is that the only bus to Peckham? I think you better ask
Well,
him.
this isn't it. No, I know that it is. Don't keep asking, because I really do, and I've worked this out.
I wanted to get somebody else into this, so we had a minor cast.
Okay,
Smartest
let's ask-
person
go on,
I...
let's
No,
ask
I
him.
don't want to know now. You offended me. Morning. Oh, there's a two.
But it's interesting how we talk about our fathers all the time. But do you think everybody is secretly preoccupied with their parents, particularly their fathers, or do you think it's something that writers have?
It has become something of a genre with people like Germaine Greer.
Michael Holroyd's book about
Yeah.
his father and, you know, what happened to the family and why it declined and how it declined, and realising he knew nothing about his family. He just had no idea who they were and just set out to explore. Which is the sort of funny way we're doing this morning. But why is there this great need?
We want to discover more about our parents because we didn't talk to them about their lives. My children know all there is to know
Yes,
about
that's
me
right.
because
Yeah.
we've grown up talking about everything.
Yeah.
And I grew up, but when I was young, I remember going to see American movies where the son-father thing was immensely strong and actually feeling a little bit miffed that we didn't do more.
And of course now, this year, of course, there's an awful lot of talk about what it was like when fathers came home from the war. I mean, children have been brought up by their mothers, saying to their mothers, who's that strange man sitting there?
Well, I
and
suppose
being
in
very
that respect,
disappointed in something.
I was quite fortunate in that my father was in the Air Force.
What,
And
flew in,
was
did he?
on bomber he was on bomber stations in East Anglia, so
right, sure.
he was at home and came home on 48-hour leaves,
Do you remember that?
weekends. Yes, I do. He cycled from Stradishall Air Base back to London. It was about 60 miles, I think, and he would 5 or 6 hours coming
Well, of course,
back.
you couldn't get the petrol in those days. I think you knew a lot more about your father than I knew about mine during the war. I didn't know about that.
Is that one of our phones?
No.
Yeah. Oh. If it's for me,
Here's Dulwich Village.
yeah.
I think we're coming along here and I think we're going to have to get off at North Dulwich. I want to see St Barnabas Hall, where my mother used to perform in a concert party called the Tonics.
Oh.
Oh.
Sorry, can I get through?
Oh. Sorry. Should we walk down to Dulwich Village? The thing was, in the 20s, there was a great vogue for a thing called concert party. It had particular sort of rules. It had a certain number of performers. They sang, they did comic songs. The most famous were the co-optimists, people like Stanley Holloway, Melville Gideon, people like that. And they would start off in the first half by wearing Pierrot outfits. And in the second half, they would change and all come in wearing evening dress. And so my mother, for example, she would come on and sing Burlington Bertie from Bow, dressed in top hat tails.
I'm Burlington Bertie. I rise at 10:30. Yes.
Wander along like a toff.
I walk down the Strand with my gloves in my hand, and I walk back again with them off.
Nearly everyone knows me, from Smith to Lord Rosebery. I'm Burlington Bertie from Bow.
I'm Bert,
I haven't a shirt. My people are well off, you know. Nearly everyone knows me, from Smith to Lord Rosebery. I'm Burlington Bertie from Bow. Bow, Bow. Oh!
What?
Look, carriage of St Barnabas. I don't...
Is that St Barnabas Hall? It must be.
No, hang on, this is the church. I think the hall may be somewhere else. Should we go and ask? Excuse me, do you live here?
Yes.
Oh, I wonder where St Barnabas Hall was. Or indeed is.
Yes, it does keep going.
Oh,
Oh, come on.
let's go and have a look at it. This is rather a voyage of discovery for me, you see, because my parents were brought up round here. I mean, they're long since dead. And that's what
Sentimental pilgrimages for old men.
Yes, I am doing a voyage of discovery. Yes.
Rediscovery.
It's for a radio.
Jog his memory, you know.
Here we are, look, Woolstone Road.
Bet you never met anybody who carried his birth certificate, have you?
I don't normally carry it around, it's just sort of... Would you like a picture of my mother as well?
You'll wait till you go something.
Well, thank you very much
Thank you
for
so
your
much.
help. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye. Aren't they absolutely sweet?
Oh, yeah.
There's St Barnabas Hall. Look, can you see the tower?
We've got to walk all that
No,
way.
no, it's not very far. It really isn't.
Well, see,
Very
Dulwich,
fancy area this now.
I think of the college.
Well, I think
The
it's to the
Dulwich
bottom.
College, I always remember, extraordinary thing that both P.G. Wodehouse and Raymond Chandler went there at the same time.
More or less the same time. I think he just missed Chandler.
But it's wonderful if they'd collaborated. They'd written, "Farewell, my Jeeves. Down these mean streets a man must go, what ho!"
Here we are. Here's St Barnabas Hall. It's a big building. Look. Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
You spotted
Read
the
out what it
sign.
says.
Fun,
This is
physical fitness, F-I-Z-Z-I-C-A-L.
This
At
is-
St Barnabas Hall,
and this is where my mother.
where Mrs. Mathew used to dance in a dinner jacket.
It's all locked. But it's rather splendid. It's like, I mean, it's a sort of... With all this
Lupton. It's like Lupton,
It
isn't
is,
it?
tile hung, with those little dormer windows up there which don't go anywhere. There's our car in that drive. Oh no, it's not. It very nearly was. Wouldn't that be an awful beginning to a
It's terrible,
story
yeah.
if you were just walking along and suddenly saw your car?
Well, no, you say this. Years and years ago, we're talking about children, we went with our kids, went to a picnic in Lewis. We then had the Volvo estate. And we walked on a bit and we were flicking wasps away from the potted meat and stuff. And Giles, who was then about 7 years old, said, "Daddy, Daddy, look, there's a car driving by with our number plate. Someone had nicked our car." Lewis police were very good.
Dulwich Picture Gallery, I happen to know, was the first ever picture gallery in London.
Really?
Yep.
You have a date for me?
No, we'll go and have a look. I think it was the first ever picture gallery in London. Here it is.
Press here to enter. Oh, that's a disabled pressing.
There we are. Now, what I want to show you is that in a minute, I'm going to go over to that woman there and I'm going to kiss her and she won't object.
He says he's going to kiss you and you won't object. Is this why we've come here? I didn't realise this was brief encounter. It's part of the liaison.
I knew I had to come in.
Oh,
I had to come. No, we'll be back later. But this is the preview.
Chris and I are
This is
making a
Alan.
radio programme, so this is live, and you have to be aware that it's live.
Goodness, all that...
Oh, yes, no, no.
Very good. We had a bit of sex at 2:30 on Radio 4, never heard anybody. Just a bit.
Here, can't you?
Yes.
No, we're actually doing a programme about visiting Chris's birthplace. Because he
Did you know that I was born around here?
Born in here, were you?
Not exactly in here, no,
exactly
but
here.
although...
No, I didn't know.
Although... Oh, you've got that picture
And
back.
this is the exhibition Wendy's involved in.
Yeah, yeah.
This is just a bit of it, though.
It's tonight, the
Yeah, I
grand opening. Yeah, we're coming later, yeah. We're bringing the sandwiches. So, anyway, I could either stay on here until about 6 o'clock tonight, or we
No, I
can
think
move
we'll
on.
go on. Christopher,
We'd
lunch.
better go. We shall see you later. That was nice to see those two girls.
Yeah, I hadn't. Well, I did finally twig what it was all about. I think we should sit in a
Let's
pub.
go to the pub down here. Sit down in the pub here. What I think we'll do then is to work out a plan of campaign. Having got this far, I'd really like to know what happens at Wallstone Road.
Is this a pub?
Yeah. Funny enough, it doesn't look huge. It doesn't look too twee, does it?
No, it's all right.
What?
To me. Take the one in the corner.
Yeah, let's go in the corner. That's it. Let's have a drink. Cheers. Thank you very
Thanks very
much.
much.
Thanks. I've always thought it was...
I think it was the first time in our series, our life together, I'm completely in your hands. I feel we have been dropped into occupied territory. I have met up with a local Mathew, and he's taking me to Catford.
And we met two undercover women pretending to have an art exhibition.
I'm very glad they kissed us.
But I wanted to do that thing in the Tom Cruise film. Do you remember that? The Tom Cruise Paul Newman film about the snooker.
That wasn't Tom Cruise.
Yes, and he said
Oh,
to
was
him,
it-
"I'm going
was
to
it
go
the
across."
second one? It
And
wasn't
I
The Hustler.
and he wouldn't, and he bet him that if he went across, he wouldn't go off with that woman. He said, "I'm going across, speak to that woman, and I bet you I can leave with her in 5 minutes." Of course, he realised it's his ex-wife or an old girlfriend. That's what I thought I could say to you. I bet you I can go up and kiss these women, and they won't object.
So I
But of
ruined
course
this
you-
entire scene.
Not really, because you realised very, very quickly, being much cleverer than Tom Cruise, exactly what was happening.
And taller. It's
And a
so
bit more
nice
neck.
being taller than... You see, when it was people like Gregory Peck, I didn't like going to cinema.
But hang on,
He was
you
taller.
and I knew that Alan Ladd played all his scenes in a trench, didn't we? No, sorry, on a box.
Trench. His nose would have come up as high as Sophia Loren's knee, and many a good film would have been ruined. He was
Why
on
was he
stilts.
such a big star then, if he was such a fun little
He was such a
tiny
little
man?
star. He was very good looking, and he was a swimmer. I like Johnny Weissmuller.
I didn't know that.
And he was a lot cheaper than Johnny Weissmuller. Johnny Weissmuller made these stars and films. They wanted another swimmer. And he was tiny, but wonderfully formed. Veronica Lake was about 4 feet, and Alan Ladd was about 4 feet 3.
And you couldn't really tell.
Well, they couldn't find another partner for either of them. In A Gun for Sale, which became This Gun for Hire, was Alan Ladd and Veronica Lake.
Yep.
They was two tiny people. And they couldn't have anybody else, because any congress between them would have been impossible. And you couldn't have Veronica Lake with Gary Cooper, because it would look like Archie Andrews and Peter Bruff. So they found these two tiny people. I think they scaled down the buildings as well. I think they were very small houses. The Empire State Building was only 140 feet high for this particular film. And then he became a very small cowboy. He used to ride a Shetland pony, you know. At the end of Shane, where Brandon Noir runs out after him shouting, Shane, Shane!
Shane,
He's on
and
a
his
Shetland
echo,
pony.
here comes back, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he couldn't hear, very small ears. It's tiny. After 200 metres, he was out of earshot. I wonder where earshot is. You know,
I
there is
think
a
that's in
point where
Surrey,
it ceases to exist, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, I
There's
thought it was a
back
place
shot.
in, there's a place in Surrey.
Somewhere doing platform bag shot, there's earshot.
Oxshot.
Cat shot.
Oxshot.
Now, I always mix up where you were brought up. I never knew whether it was
No,
Oxshot or Oxted.
No, there's a bit of a confusion. What we are doing here in Dulwich is we're coming to a place where my parents had their childhood. This was E. Nesbitt country. This was the Treasure Seekers. I mean, we had at home a whole collection of Victorian novels about children who'd come to, you know, terrible things had happened to them. And then you would have known the difference if you'd lived here between, say, Dulwich and East Dulwich. East Dulwich was not anything like Dulwich. East Dulwich, in fact, was regarded as being the wrong end of Dulwich. If you go to places Underhill Road and places like that, Hillcourt Road, where my grandparents lived. See a picture of my grandparents in Hillcourt Road? I haven't
Oh, this envelope is inexhaustible. You've got a picture of your grandparents. Is there anybody else? How far back do your photographs go?
I did have a picture of my great-grandmother, but I didn't bring it because I thought that was just too silly. Do you find yourself in a place like this, slightly at sea? Nothing rings a bell. If I say Sydenham Hill, where my father lived with his mother and the family in a huge house on Sydenham Hill. When I say Sydenham Hill, I know what it means. It rings a bell.
There is this tonic programming that comes from the names and nomenclature where we grew up. It's what Pinter is wonderful at. And Pinter does a monologue about how you get from Blackstock Road to Finsbury Park. It's extraordinary race. He's such a North London writer. He's a wonderful writer.
He still managed to...
Sidcup.
He
No,
made
Sidcup is the thing because it's unknown.
I know,
Because
I
it's
know.
unknown. He found the concept of Sidcup funny. I never think of myself as a Londoner. I think of myself as particular to certain places. Annie and I once spent 6 months in the Middle East driving a Ford truck across the Sahara to prove things. We drove to Damascus. We planned to drive to Baghdad, but the thing broke down, broke a half shaft, and we had to lie low and get a new engine sent out from Ford's in Dagenham. You know, a long, complicated story. When we were coming back, we had this gradual feeling of returning to home, and when we put the truck on a boat and got off at Brindisi, and then I thought, it's Europe, and we drove up through Europe and we got to the Channel, got to England, thought, it's England. I didn't feel I was home until we crossed the river, physically going across Westminster Bridge, and it was North London. I felt I was home. I didn't feel I was home when I got to England, or even when I got to London. I felt I was home when I got to North London. Now come on, let's go.
Let's go. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
I sort of feel like cheating this bit.
How? Walking?
No.
What? Not going?
No, I don't mean that.
Good heavens, weren't you born at this bus stop, Christopher? My word, look, there's a plaque. Christopher Matthew, born here in 1939.
Why am I so concerned to see Woolstone Road?
I absolutely don't know.
Well, I'll tell
we
you
haven't
why.
come all this
It's
bloody
because
way not to see
every time
it.
they ask me at the bank, where were you born, I say Woolstone Road. There must be something there. There must be some reason that she was there.
I can't think why a bank should want to know my mother's maiden name.
No, that's
and I
right.
have this real problem, because my mother's maiden name was the same as mine. She was a very distant cousin of
Alan?
my father. No. She was about my father's seventh cousin, but had the same name. And it wouldn't matter now, but it does to me, because I'm
Yes.
of this Freedom
Yes,
Pass
yes,
generation.
yes, yes.
When they say, what was your mother's name? I say the same as mine, and they say, fine. But it makes it sound as though she was unmarried, and I want to give them a whole story. Yes, my mother's name was Coren, that was her maiden name, but she was a distant cousin of my father. No, really very distant. I'm not mad at all. Mind you, it might explain a lot of behaviour. Chris, there is no bus. This is the end of Freedom Pass. We have been here forever. There's that one.
Here it comes.
There's a bus coming.
It's coming, yeah. You never understood the whole thing about Freedom Pass, which is standing at the bus stop chatting. What do you think they
standing
do?
at the bus stop at the corner of the street until a certain little lady comes by. Oh me, oh my, I hope the little lady comes by. No, madam, we have 1 pint only.
Hang on.
Hello. There you go. Afternoon, everyone. Oh, see, here we are. It is actually London.
want to
There's
get
a
off-
stables. It says manure for sale, 50p a bag.
We're very nearly there.
Thank God for that.
If we can go there. Oh, come on. This is a big moment in my life. I think this is right. I think this is as far as we can go. Where are we? I think we're here.
Well, I know we're here. Where is it?
We're more or less here. Woolstone Road is more or less there. We can walk it.
Chris,
What?
this is rather a dangerous area.
I know.
It's got all these signs
suddenly-
up saying check your gun.
Shall we run?
Can't do it. I don't do running now.
Bet you will in a minute.
Can't be. You're in. Fluff.
Oh, we never had that in our day.
You couldn't have been born round here. Can you remember the sound? It's like those when people are kidnapped and blindfolded. Can you remember the sound of trains when you were born? Is it round here?
Just look here for a minute. Don't look. Let's not panic. Come here. I'm going to ask.
It's JC Deco with this. They'll know.
Excuse me. Do you live round here?
Yes.
Do you know where Woolstone Road is?
Yes. Excuse me, anybody know where Woolstone Road is?
Am I going the wrong way?
Down here.
Oh, is it? Oh, Lord, number
Yeah.
15. We're going the wrong way. Oh,
Yeah.
Woolston Road,
yes.
Thanks very much for your help. Bye.
right up that road.
Mini roundabout.
Oh, that's it, that's it. You got it.
Up here.
Oh,
Mini
sorry,
roundabout.
You can go from there as well.
How
Bloke
far?
through the pub.
How far up
You
here?
can go round the way. That's not far.
Okay.
It's not far.
Okay, thanks very much. This is not, it's not a good area, this, is it? Oh, look. Oh,
No, it really isn't.
I'm very sorry. I feel that I'm apologising. My birthplace is hardly Blenheim Palace, is it?
No.
Oh,
Well,
no, he said 5 minutes, look.
It's miles. Well, you were born down here.
No, it might get better. Talavera, Egremont, look at the names of the houses.
Yeah.
Hilderville.
Hilderville. You can't have somewhere called Hilderville.
Ivydale.
Oh, it can't be Hilderville and Ivydale. Your father wasn't on the run, was he?
Here's the roundabout. If this isn't it down here, I'm going to get very fed up. I'm not going to go down. I mean, if we can't find this place immediately, I think I'm going to give up and change my birth certificate and put something completely different, like Kensington High Street. It's too far down here.
How are we going to get a bus back? There weren't any buses
We get a
coming.
356 back up the top, and then we get the bus to Victoria.
I can't, because it'll take all day.
Now, hang on. Do you see that bus coming up here?
Yeah.
Where's that going?
Croydon. You don't really think I want to go to Croydon?
No, I just thought it might go somewhere near Victoria.
Christopher, I love this so much. I always thought you were the top. And I was...
Yes, but where you were born doesn't make it. I mean, there are a lot of people who were born in very poor circumstances and then rose. I thought it's going to be cold. You said, oh, it's going to be raining. I imagine that
come on, you're not going to blame me for getting born in Woolstone Road. I'm not having that.
I think it's Woolstone Road.
There it is. CCTV cameras. It's an Edwardian house, slightly tile hung, much in the manner of Psycho. Late Bates Motel style. You wouldn't want to go down in the basement.
Shall we ring the doorbell and see who's there?
No.
Why not?
Well, it's beware of the dog. I'm not going in there. Well, what are you going to ask them if they answer the door?
I don't know.
Well, go and do it. You might call yourself a reporter.
It says beware of the dog, and it's got a lock on it to keep the dog in.
Yeah, well, Donald McCullum would not have hesitated at the door, or Alan Wicker, or Richard Dimbleby.
It says enter at your own risk.
Well, I'm not going in. It's enter at your own risk. Don't stand there, you'll upset the dog. Christopher, press the bell.
It's a block of flats. It's got 6 bells and no names.
Christopher, I'm going home. I don't like it here.
I didn't like it much here in 1939. Why
I'm
do you
going to
think
get a cab. It
do you
probably
think
means
I
walking
moved?
to Hyde Park Corner to get one.
It's no good, is it? There's nobody there.
No, I feel I'm being a bit flip here. Are you moved by this?
No,
Well, let's go then.
I'm moved to go. No, I'm not going up that way. Can we not go? Is it not better to go this way? But it's quite a nice house.
I used to envy you, your background. Never again. Never again. That is extraordinary. I don't think we ought to delve any more deeply than this, you know.
Oh, no. Hurry up, Elizabeth.
Where's it going?
I don't know. Doesn't matter, does it? To go to Catford Station.
Do
To go to Catford Station, then we're fine. We'll go back from there.
Do you go to Catford Station? Thank you. That's a stroke of luck.
You need one at this stage, don't you?
You see, your brother wouldn't. Your brother's younger, isn't he?
Yeah, he
You would
wasn't
have
here.
no idea why. No one
He was
knows.
born at Hammersmith in the hospital there.
Well, you have no idea why you were born here. That was never a hospital.
Private house. What's my mother doing in that house?
I don't know.
Because in those days it wouldn't have been flats, it would have been a house.
Why don't you write a story for Martin Jarvis about it? Today's outing turned out to have a plot.
Oh, yeah.
You wanted to stop at the top of the road. I see why, of course.
So all that stuff I've given you in Dulwich Village, and then we actually saw where it really was.
Yeah, it wasn't Dulwich Village, Chris. It wasn't near Fiji Woodhouse. It had a smack of Raymond Chandler about it. Is that it? There you go.
I've done it.
Great.
Go on, let's get down to the station. Let's not mess about any longer. Let's get on the first train. It'll probably go to Croydon.
Are you sure this is the right side?
No,
Well, why are you going down here then?
because there's a way across. They have footbridges.
I'm going nuts. This one goes to Charing Cross, right?
Hello, which side do we need to be for London?
That's fine.
Far side. Okay, thanks very much. Would you
You know
refer?
how much it's going to cost me to buy weekly?
We don't even know where we are. We have no idea where we're going. How can we tell you what things cost? What was it? A weekly what?
Weekly travel card from zone 2 to 5. How much is going to cost me?
Is this a question, or are you going to tell us?
You look official. It's the raincoat. He doesn't know anything. All he does is go up and down. All he does is take me up and down stairs onto platforms I don't want to be. He knows nothing. There's a man in there. I'll go and ask him. You need to go from where? Zone B?
No, I need to go in Bethnal Green.
From here?
Yeah. It's a long way, I know.
I don't know where Bethnal Green is. It could be anywhere.
It's in East London.
You'll probably have to go through zone 1 though, really, to get to
No.
What is Zone 1?
I don't know. It just worries me that she thought I worked for the railways.
Cannon Street. Should we get on it?
Why not? She's going to catch you in the back.
Right. You sure we don't need a ticket?
No, he said no.
It's a nice train, this. We might do trains instead of buses next time.
I'm just so relieved at having seen the place where I was born. It's kind of changed my life in a way that I can't quite explain. I just wrote that story about discovering my mother had been married before, which is perfectly easy to discover.
This is much
and
more
the effect
interesting.
it has.
Well, forgive me, this is more interesting. The total mystery.
There are a lot of questions you want to ask your parents, aren't there, when they've gone? And this is perhaps the biggest one of all.
You've been listening to Freedom Pass with Alan Coren and Christopher Matthew. The producer was Paul Kobrak.
Well, Adam, there it goes. What do you think of that, then? After all these years, you never guessed, did you? Not for a single second. What did my dad say was company director, company blood.
If this were television now, you would throw your birth certificate out the window. There's 4 hours here, so Paul can stitch this together.
What we always say. You're right, Paul. I might try and find the registrar, A.A. Davis. I wonder what happened to him. Oh, nice bloke, Adrian.
Yeah, 100.